My Lords, there are many areas of concern with this bill, as we've heard, but I would like to focus on what it means to parents and children and to freedom of speech and religion. As drafted, and before the army of amendments surely coming its way, it would become a criminal offence for parents to discuss gender issues with their children. Given that parents will only have their child's best interest at heart, there is clearly no harmful intent. Yet, as drafted, the bill assumes there is only harmful intent. And surely it cannot be right, as a matter of principle, that free speech becomes criminalised when there is no harm intended, let alone caused. And how are these private family conversations discovered anyway? Possibly because a child tells a classmate or teacher. What then of the teacher? Is he or she committing a crime by not reporting the parents to the police? And if she or he does report the parents to the police, and the police arrest the parents and they now have a criminal record, what does that do to future family relationships? But, my Lords, it gets worse, because not only is it proposed to ban spoken free speech, but also silent free speech in the form of prayers. Thus we have a new crime, prayer crime. Ban conversion therapy's founders say a ban must cover gentle, non-coercive prayer, before going on to confirm that prayer has a pernicious power, and then linking prayer and corrective rape. Humanists UK say the ban must cover repentances, willfully ignoring that repentance is a core belief of the Christian faith. And as drafted, will our own Right Reverend prelates face prosecution too, if, for example, at Sunday school, they were to read from any of St. Paul's letters to the epistles to the Romans or the Galatians or the Corinthians or the Hebrews or to James? And would not imams and rabbis and gurus also not be liable for reading from their scriptures? And anyway, if they weren't reading in English, as seems highly likely, how convoluted is that prosecution going to be? And what effect will that have on community and cultural relations? Methinks that none of this has really been thought through at all. As with parents and prayers, so with clinicians. As the interim CAST review concluded, clinicians should delve deeply into a child's emotional state, but this bill would make such exploratory conversations illegal and leave the clinician open to prosecution. As with parents, the clinician would have no statutory defence, extraordinary state of affairs in itself, and this would almost certainly lead to miscarriages of justice. And talking of justice, noble lords far more learned than me are certain that, as drafted, the bill would fall foul of ECHR Articles 8, 9, 10 and 11. And I agree with the noble Baroness Burt's previous suggestion in this House that Parliament should not pass bills that are unlikely to survive a human rights challenge. My Lords, this bill places parents in an impossible situation. To discuss with their child their gender identity and explore the future options will now be illegal. But what remains legal, the Tavistock mermaid solution of brain-damaging cross-sex hormones, the pubescent breast binders, the teenage double mastectomies, the physical and chemical castrations, the testosterone injections which so ravage the young female body, the puberty blockers that lower IQ, the breast enhancers, the pumping up with steroids and artificial hormones. It's all too awful for any loving parent to consider. And faced with the choice between illegal, non-violent, open discussion with their children and legal but violent and irreversible so-called treatments, I suspect most parents will now be forced into choosing the illegal option. My Lords, the irony, of course, is that conversion therapy used to mean the type of physical violence that has now been criminalised by other legislation. Yet the proponents of this bill have no hesitation in inflicting a different type of physical violence on the children of those who oppose them. My Lords, this bill fails on many levels, and I fear no amount of amendments will make it workable. but of course we must try.